Listen!
The Force Losers Podcast with Brad and Ted.
Welcome to the Force Losers Podcast, everybody. A month and a half later.
6 weeks later.
Oh, God.
It's been a minute.
You know what's kind of depressing this time is that this time it wasn't even like anything was going on or happening.
Nope.
It was just a matter of we didn't do it.
Well, yeah, okay. So this is kind of where I've gotten to lately, right? As our friends like to say, life gets lifey, right?
Yeah.
So with the last couple of weeks, and this is banal as fuck, but like work has demanded so much of me, and you and I have talked about this. It requires a lot more of my attention right now.
Yeah.
And you take that, you mix in a helping of we are living in a furnace. In a furnace that is also with a sousson of ball sweat constantly. Like, and then so like that is physically draining, right? Like you can attest to that. You and I can attest to that. Working outside in this bullshit is physically draining.
Well, I mean,
right?
I'm not taking anything away from you. I agree. You work outside and everything. I'm not. You at least do get like the AC from your van or truck.
I get breaks.
Yeah.
I get breaks. You're in a pit.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm not even when I'm not in the pit. I'm still standing outside in the sunlight. Like, I work in an open garage.
Yeah.
Like, there is no AC. If we have a customer, we are in the heat. And we're also leaning on top of, like, hot motors because these jackasses have been driving around for 3 hours.
Exactly. It's a different type of heat, man. It's different.
Yeah.
It's different. Like, you walk outside and all of your motivation is sapped from you, right?
Well, and it doesn't help that, like, my work uniform is Dickies pants, long Dickies pants. I can't, like, no shorts.
Yeah.
And I have to wear one of those thick button, like, I've always had the same type of uniform shirts anytime I've had this job. It's a thick, almost like a Dickie material, and it's a button-up shirt, and and long. And if I have to wear a long sleeve shirt, I roll up those damn sleeves.
Thick shirts for a thick man.
That's right. They call me Big House.
Yeah, thick, 2 C's. Dummy thick.
But you were talking about, like, with your job requiring more of your time and energy and all that, and attention. My job too. I got promoted, and I'm now a key holder. So now I get to open and close things. Yeah,
and like, then there's this added layer to it, right? Like okay. So I often say, like, stress, right? Your body cannot differentiate between different types of stresses. It's just stress, right? So you have work stress, you have environmental stress, like living in this garbage is stressful. All these the world is fucking stressful. Like, since we've stopped podcasting, things have gotten worse, right? So that's stressful to the point where, like, me personally, I'm finding that I don't even have the energy to devote to the things that I fucking love doing, like podcasting. My training has fallen off. My diet's gone to fucking shit. Like, the whole shebang is, like, I'm holding on by the skin of my teeth at the moment. But all that to say, here we are rallying. Yeah. We are rallying because when life gets stressful and you're dealing with all these different stresses, you got to have an outlet of some kind. You got to be able to open up the fucking pressure release valve and just let a little bit go. So here we are.
Yeah.
We're here.
Here to sit down and have a conversation
about whatever the fuck. I don't know.
Before we started the episode, we had to make a list of things that we hadn't talked about. Because, again, a month and a half, and it's been a busy month and a half. Like, it's not it's not that we haven't hung out. It's not that we haven't done podcast-worthy things.
No.
We made a list of things that were like, wait, have we talked about this yet? No? Okay, it's on the list.
No, literally.
And, I mean, we had to debate and figure out right before we started, too.
Dude, I know. Like, so much has happened since we last podcasted. So much. I mean, we did finish Halo. Obi-Wan came out. We went and saw Thor: Love and Thunder. You know, the Rings of Power trailer just dropped. Like, I mean, there's much.
Been, like, 3 Rings of Power trailers.
Like the big trailer. Like the big trailer, though. The big one. The one we talked about last night. But we're going to table that. We're going to
we're holding off.
Don't get me started, motherfucker, because you know I will take over the next 3 hours.
I'm curbing it. Don't worry about it. We're waiting until September. September. Do you want to go over the trailers like before we watch the series, and then we'll watch the series, and then we'll go over the series?
Dude, I figure it'll just come up.
Okay.
It'll just come up.
That's fair.
But
if not
here,
it'll be on Nerd Hurt or on Nerd Herder.
Oh, our friends.
Yeah.
Our friends. Oh, yeah, by the way, if you've made it 5 minutes in, guys, go check out a good podcast. Go check out Nerd Herder.
Go check out a good podcast.
They're great. They like, our friends are killing it over there. Like, I don't know if like I've been every Friday I've been trying to catch their shows because they're just killing it. They got the best guests. They're covering the best topics. Like, they're the best. I love them. And
they are an awesome couple of people.
They're the best, man. And you know what? Since we're here, let's do a little... Hey, gang, this is the point in the show in which my audio dropped out because I was trying to run too many things at once. And wouldn't you know it, it dropped out right when I was trying to talk about the Amidala Initiative. So if you get a chance, go to @AmidalaHelps on Twitter and go to the resources there to help out with Equality Texas. And without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and shut up now so the person that recorded this earlier can take it away. Take it away? I don't know. That's definitely worth your time. I mean, there's all kinds of things you can get into, donations, there's merch that you can get into, man, there's so much there. And even if you can't get into all that, if you can't do all that, if you could just share it and spread it around, they're doing good work. I also want to bring your attention to What Choice. As you all know, the Supreme Court turned over Roe v. Wade, went back on precedent, blah, 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 blah. It's a huge shit show. They're a bunch of fucking lecherous old people, and fuck them, right? But What Choice is another one of these initiatives, I think that's a correct way to put it, that is helping to raise funds for people in the states that are going to be affected. So this is the stuff that kind of keeps me engaged with the fandom at large, because they're not content just to sit there and let bullshit happen. They're actually wanting to do something and trying to affect change. And if you could even if you can share it, even if you can push it around and get the word out, that's doing a lot. So, yeah. What's the point of all of this if we're not going to build a sense of community that can actually do something? So, yeah. And with that, I'll step off my soapbox.
No. Again. Don't call it a soapbox. I mean, it is something important.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny, man, because do you get this? Does your social anxiety or social awkwardness extend to the online sphere?
It can. Like, mostly it's like if I can play a game that I normally do very well at. If I do horrible, like, I just get every anxiety to just like back out of the game and like, sorry guys, I'm sorry, I'm such shit. Okay, so like the thing that I find with myself is like we're on this periphery of this fandom, right? Like, I mean, there's not a whole lot of people that know about us, and that's fine. But there's a lot of really rad people, and I find that like I want to interact with them, and I want to like kind of be more visible. But my social anxiety is even like, nah, don't comment on that. Don't comment. No one wants to hear your comment. So I end up just kind of lurking, which is great for podcast promotion. It's great for podcast promotion. If you guys are looking for the secret to promoting your podcast and getting a huge platform, don't interact with people. It's the best. It will drive your numbers up astronomically. Okay. Like, that's the secret. And you can all pay me now because I just told you the secret. Is that how this works? No, it's not. That's why I'm so bad about it, man. Like, you should not give your promotional duties to someone with social anxiety. Unfortunately, the two of us both have social anxiety.
I know. We're fucked.
I mean, if someone asks me, I'll be like, yeah, no, we talk about this kind of stuff. It's a relaxing, fun time. You should listen to it.
I know.
Give it a try.
I always tell them, like, if you're into really crass bullshit, like, we're right up your alley. Like,
yeah. Though, to be fair, we do kind of dial it back a bit.
I mean,
some of the shit we say when we're playing Battlefront.
Oh, man. Yeah. Oh, God. That's us. That's us.
I would just like to say, fuck you, King Feet.
Oh, fuck that guy, man. You know what, though? Okay. All right, folks. So last night, Brad and I were playing, and there was a guy on the other team, and we were on the Scarif map of Supremacy, and this dude was Emperor Palpatine, and he wrecked us, man. That whole team just fucking...
No. He would wreck the entire team. It was
straight disrespect. It was straight disrespect. He would wreck
the entire team. Motherfucker had, like, what was it, 140 something, and like
113.
The next highest person only had like 15 kills.
50.
No, 15.
50. No. I looked at that. I remember that. I remember, bro. That guy had like 100. He had 113 kills, and the number 2 guy in his team had like 50 something. It was
the highest
ridiculous.
kills on our team was 15. I remember.
Yes, that was our highest. Yeah. Now, caveat to that story, folks. Caveat: the next match, we were in the same lobby as this guy, right? And I'm not taking anything away from him. I'm sure he's a wonderful person, and I'm sure he's a great...
fuck him.
But fuck that guy, right? Yeah. Fuck that guy to the point that the next map, when I saw him, it became my sole mission in life to fucking murder this guy. I did.
Still took pretty much the entire team.
It did. It took nearly the entire match for me to get this guy, but I got him. And folks, when I tell you the adrenaline rush that I got, like the adrenaline that hit my system in that moment, I could have Bobby Knight that. I could have taken that chair and just Bobby Knighted it right across my living room. I was so stoked. It was so lopsided. This guy murked me like dozens and dozens and dozens of times, but I got him once. That was my Rocky moment, man. I went the distance with Apollo Creed, man. I did it.
God.
Oh man, that was great. And hey, if you guys are interested in gaming with us, we're going to give our gamer tags at the end of the show. Yeah. Fucking join us. We're awful. Like, don't play with us expecting us to help you achieve anything, like, at all. So well, no, I'm awful. Brad is very good. I'm awful.
It's Battlefront 2. No one's ever all that good. They're just lucky.
Dude, like, it's literally, I spaz out on the controller. Like, I have no coordination. I just spaz out with like spazzy raccoon hands. That's all it is, man.
I have seen you like on the heavy class, I've seen you dump like your entire special magazine of ammo at all nothing. Of it.
Yep.
At nothing.
I have
you see a motherfucker like poke their head over the hill, and you just continuously fire on the hill to see he's gonna poke his head up eventually.
Oh yeah, no, I will spray and pray, dude, every time. I spray and pray every time. I am not trying to be good. I am just trying to, like, not be awful. But I'm awful. but I'm awful. I'm failing at that endeavor.
Okay.
Yeah. Speaking of spray and pray, we're going to have to reach back all the way to the spring to talk about tonight's subject. Because literally...
I'm trying to think back. I'm like, I remember parts.
Bro... Here's why I feel bad right now. Here's why I feel bad. Because before we took our unplanned hiatus, we were intending to get into this. We were going to do a whole episode to kind of break this down because I was super stoked for you. I was super stoked that, like, you had this thing like brought into the world.
This is my Rings of Power.
Yeah, this was your nerdy wet dream come true. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Something I've been waiting like 8 years to happen.
Hell yeah, and I was so stoked for you. But then, like, life got in the way, and then I felt like I'm such a dick. No. You know? Like, come on. I can't wait for you to get into this, man. I'm so stoked for you. And if you guys don't know what we're talking about, good, because you're not going to, because it's been like over 6 weeks since the last episode. Halo.
Yes.
Halo.
I mean, and I have to control myself with this because anytime you ever like give me the reins to talk about something nerdy, it's me just rambling on about absolutely fucking nothing for 2 hours.
I don't care. That's what we're here for.
Like
ramble on.
Like in my opinion, like my worst ever episode on this podcast is E3 Rection, I don't remember what fucking episode it was, but it's 4 hours of me talking about nothing. And it's
Bro,
like,
that's a lot of our episodes.
well, a lot of our episodes have direction though. Like I think most of that episode is literally me just reading off games from a list. And it's all like I was reading from the list of games that they introduced at that year's E3.
We were babies.
And it was nothing.
We were baby podcasters.
Oh my god, I know, but like out of all of our early episodes of the podcast, like that's the one where I have the biggest regret. That's the one where I'm just like, can we just delete this one?
It's okay, man. We were baby podcasters. We had a lot of misfires.
Yeah. Well, I would say
still
our
do.
first like 8 are misfires. Everything else after that was pretty fun.
Yeah, well, that's all that matters. Is are we having fun?
Yeah.
Now, with Halo,
Yes,
did you have fun?
I did. It's a different take, and like again, I mean, a lot of fans got shitty about it, and I mean,
Naturally.
that's gonna happen. Halo fans are like Star Wars fans, and typically they're the same people as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a different take. It was honestly like watching this series was like when it made me feel like when I was just getting into Halo the games.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I first started, like you can play the first Halo game when it first came out, and like you don't pay attention to any of the lore. It's just a running gun. You're just there to kill aliens. That's all it was. No one paid attention really. But like after the first game did so well, and they started coming out with the second game, and that one did so well. I mean, that's when you really started to get a lot of lore and like stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, like watching this series made me feel like back when I was a kid and I was trying to find out the lore to this stuff. It was Halo. Like it felt like Halo. It was just not. It was a different Halo, and that's fine.
Sure.
Again, it was more lore that I wanted to learn.
Right. So like, as its own entity, right?
Yeah.
If you're not comparing it to anything that came before it,
Yeah.
how does it function for you?
I think it functions very well. It was the same characters that, I grew up with, but there were new aspects, new dynamics of them. And at the same time, I think I brought this up in a previous episode where we just touched on it. I could easily see the Halo TV series being the same universe as the Halo games, just from a different perspective.
Okay.
Because
expand on that.
Well, I mean, in the games, the only point of view you ever get is Chief, and then in the second game, you get Arbiters. Mm-hmm. And Arbiter is an elite. And I mean,
right.
you don't actually, I don't think you'd ever fought humans as the Arbiter. You
right.
fought, other aliens, other life forms. So, I mean, even then, you really didn't get a different perspective in the Human Covenant War. But,
right.
like, especially with some of the things that the TV series touched on with Master Chief and his conditioning and the conditioning of the other Spartans, I can absolutely see like this being a different perspective of, in the series you get the perspective of the rebels who are fighting against UNSC control.
Right.
You get the perspective of UNSC officers, and they don't actually come out and say it, but ONI, which is Halo's version of the CIA, the secret organization that is for the protection of humanity, but
right.
and they're like, but typically their operations will end in some form of, friendly catastrophe of some kind. Like there's definitely friendly fire with those guys.
Right.
The fact, like, they never mentioned Oni in the TV series, but in the games and in the lore of that universe, you have a lot of, like, there's a lot of talk about Oni being the shadow organization that nobody trusts.
Right.
So, I mean, if you're seeing, like, you get to see some of the background, and, like, if you know to look for Oni, then you realize, is like, most of the stuff that goes on is Oni operations.
Okay. Like, that's something because I came into the series with, like, basically no background with Halo.
I still absolutely want to, like, I want to get you and me copies of, or I want to get you a copy of the Master Chief Collection when you have more hardware space.
Yeah.
And I want to bring you through all of those games, like, just playing it. Like, you don't have to participate. You just have to watch.
No, I mean, I would love to actually play the games. I would love to play the campaigns and things like that, because it's so me coming into it with literally no background in Halo, I found the television series to be incredibly compelling.
Oh, yeah.
Like, incredibly compelling. I loved the storyline of the Spartans and Chief, and I loved the storyline from the Rebels and Soren, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that character was fascinating.
Soren the pirate. Yeah.
Yeah, fascinating. The level of intrigue going on within the UNSC, like it's a fucking fascist organization.
Oh yeah, it's nothing but military politics.
Exactly, and it was so, and that's what I loved about the Master Chief angle in this, was like his slow realization that, you know, he's a pawn in all of this, and
he's Halsey's pawn.
Yeah, he's Halsey's pawn in all of this, and then Halsey's fucking wackadoo.
Yeah,
like,
no,
wackadoo.
Well, but see, that's the thing. That's kind of like, it might just be the different perspective playing on it. Because in the game series, you know, you see it from Master Chief's perspective, and again, it might be that conditioning that he has, but
right.
the point of view you have of Halsey is she is essentially a mother figure to the Spartans. Mm-hmm. Like, she's not, like, she does care about them in her own way.
It's so twisted, though.
Exactly, and like Chief is like a lot of, like, Chief is like her favorite.
Yeah, because her care is only extended so far as it helps her achieve her goals.
Yes.
Like, she's got this savior complex that she's the one that's going to save humanity, and her caring for Chief is only as deep as that. Like, her caring for Chief only extends so long as he is useful to her end goal.
Well, and because she, like, in the series, yes, and she sees him, like, the reason why, like, in the series, her favoritism is towards him because, and I think, and you can kind of see it in the games as well, being the same thing. Her care for him is a matter of, you know, she looks for like, to bring about humanity's next step in evolution. She sees Chief as that next step. Like, she sees the other Spartans as the next step as well, but Chief is
right.
her, like, Chief is like the height of her success.
Right. And, you know, Halsey had one moment in the series where she saves her daughter when the Covenant attacks in that one bit. You know, that one really badass scene where the Covenant attacks and then the Spartans get in there and, you know, wreck house. She had that one scene where she saved her daughter, and I was like, maybe there's something to Halsey that's still human. Maybe she's still human. And then the next couple episodes happen, and you're like, nope. Yeah. She is still entirely single-minded around her mission.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, you saw a lot of Halsey, like, flip-flopping. Like, she had moments where she showed you, like, a humanity to her, and then the other times where she just shut it all down and, like, did something fucking horrendous.
Yeah.
But then you get that, I think it was like in the last or the second to last episode, but you get her daughter's monologue about her. Yeah. And I think it's when she's talking to, I forget what her name was or what.
I know what you're talking about, though.
But it's the one
Kai.
who put Kai. Yeah, it's when she's talking to Kai, and she says, like, Halsey doesn't put up with, what's the wording? She doesn't put up with,
it was like something to the effect of, like,
anomalies.
Like,
she doesn't put up with anomalies.
Yeah.
And if you don't conform to her way, you're an anomaly.
It's so weird, man, because, like, Kai is one of my favorite characters in that series.
Oh,
bar none. Because Kai sees Chief remove his little pellet, right? And then she removes hers. And her journey of discovery, of self-discovery, of forging her own identity as an individual. Yeah. And, I mean, I'll call it what it is. She's got a punk rock streak to her. And, like, I love that. You know, I love that aspect. And, like, Chief had his own, like, journey of self-discovery. It was all kind of intertwined and enmeshed with the Halo and the artifacts. which made the ending of the series, spoiler alert, so fucking tragic when like they're in this desperate battle.
And he realizes that Cortana is the only way to really get out of this.
Exactly. And like after this entire series of finding out who am I as John, who am I as a person, his journey of self-discovery, of becoming his own individual, and then sacrifices that, not knowing if he's ever going to get that back, was brilliant. It was so beautifully done. Yeah. And I wasn't expecting that from a fucking Halo show.
Oh, yeah.
I was not expecting that.
If you get into the later games, when they've actually had built up more of a world to the series, you get a lot more of that because, like, the care, like, as you go in, like, further into the series, you know, in the end of the second game, you, as Master Chief, have to abandon Cortana on the Covenant's holy city, High Charity. Mm-hmm. And, you know, you get this, like, you really get a lot of great dialogue between Chief and Cortana in the second game. You get it in the first game, but it's more business. It's more of like, okay, Cortana's the thing that's telling me what to do, so I need to go and do this. It's not so much like interaction between them as it is storytelling. In the second game, you get a lot of, like, in the middle, like, you don't get so much cutscenes, but you get a lot of, like, dialogue between the two of them where they get that relationship built. You get, like, a certain amount of care because, like, you get the impact that Cortana is Chief's AI and they were assigned to each other. No matter if where Cortana is plugged into in the UNSC systems to help out with battles, Chief and Cortana are there to protect each other. Mm-hmm. And, you know, you get this big moment where Chief has to leave her behind on High Charity as the Flood is taking over the place, and you'll figure out eventually. Like, spoilers, like, the Flood's not in the TV series, but it's they're like the main like they're the big bad behind the big bad. Like, this, like, the Coven is this big threat, but an even bigger threat is the Flood. You'll find out eventually.
So that makes sense in the context of the show, right? Because one of the things that I never really grasped watching the show was, like, what's the Covenant's motivation? Like, what's going on with the Covenant? Like, why do they want to find the Halo? What's their whole thing? Now in the show, they kind of paint it as like a holy mission, right? It's like it's part of their spiritual beliefs. Yeah. This, that, and the other thing. And that makes sense, but, like, what is the underlying motivation there? I know Halsey thinks that the Halo is the path to creating the next step in human evolution. The UNSC obviously thinks it's a weapon that can help them win the war. You know, so if you're saying the Flood is kind of like the big bad behind that, that would make sense to kind of incorporate that in later seasons, you know.
Oh, I knew they weren't going to incorporate the Flood into the first season because the Flood aren't even introduced until they find Halo.
Yeah, and in the first season of any television series is always about establishing characters. Oh, yeah. That's always what that is.
And they did the shit out of this.
Hell yeah. Like, even Chief and Cortana's interaction made so much sense in the context of the series because, like, Chief had this AI implanted in him. Of course he's not going to trust it. You know, of course not. And especially when he finds out that the AI was meant to replace him. He was meant to just be the vessel for Cortana. Yeah. Of course that would cause a lot of distrust, and it made a lot of sense. But it also made the growth that you get to towards the end of the series where John willingly says, you need to take over. This you need to step in. This is the only way we're going to win this fight.
Save my Spartans.
Yeah. I mean, it's so cool because, you know, the UNSC has this idea that if they generate the Spartans to be mindless, or not mindless, but more compliant, emotionless, that they're going to have better fighters. And arguably, they didn't fight. They fought more cohesively when there wasn't that. There wasn't that, like, mindlessness. There wasn't that lack of emotion. When they actually cared for each other, they fought harder. You know.
Well, Chief and Kai fought harder. Because the other two Spartans in this whole series, like, they still had their chips in.
Yeah, but they were able to convince them.
Oh yeah,
of everything that Halsey was doing, and they got them onto their side.
Yeah, well, I mean, and they're still brothers and sisters. Like, no matter, because in the game series, like, they still have that inhibition, but the way, like, Halsey describes it is that, like, it blocks hormones in order to focus you in battle. It's not like a matter of it's not like a way of keeping loyalty. Not that they say.
Right.
But, you know, they do bring up, it's like, yeah, they have those hormone blockers. But the fact that, you know, like 100+ kids were brought together into a boot camp away from their families, and then were basically conscripted into the military.
Yeah.
And we're told you are going to do great things. You are the next stepping. Like, they were openly told these things. Like, it was glorified a lot.
Bro, there's some dark shit in that.
Oh yeah. But like everything that happened in the show pretty much like when describing like how the Spartans came to be, all that shit pretty much happened to a T. Like, they started out with like 100 kids, and I think by the end of by the end of the experiments, and like by the time they were complete Spartans, they had like 60 something.
Dude,
they had
it's so
60
insane.
something kids left.
The way the show handled, like, they were fucking kidnapped.
Yeah.
Those kids were kidnapped and replaced with clones that were going to die.
Yeah.
Like the UNSC was like, yeah, we're totally cool with putting these families through a whole lot of trauma.
And you know what though? It wasn't even the UNSC who greenlit it. It was Oni.
Yeah. And like that makes sense to explore that in the next season to start getting back to, because like what they did in the first season really well is they established that the UNSC is something you shouldn't trust. You shouldn't trust the UNSC. You should fear the Covenant, and you shouldn't trust them either. I mean, come on. What was the girl's name? The one that John was getting kind of fresh with.
Hold on.
Help me out here, because I don't want to do that actress any disservice. That role was amazing. It was an amazing role. She knocked it out of the park, and it was tragic as fuck, man.
Riz, Miranda, Quan
was a badass.
No, not Vanek. That was a Spartan.
Yeah.
McKee.
Yeah, McKee.
Charlie Murphy.
Yeah, such a tragic role, man. That one hurt me when she you know, when she got it at the end. That one sucked, man, cuz like
she grew on me as a character.
Yeah, and there was a genuine connection between her and John. The chemistry was right there. And it was a really good plot point, man.
Yeah.
Really good.
So back to the earlier point, we'll come back to this in a second.
Okay.
So essentially the Covenant's whole entire, like, the whole point behind the Covenant is there's, before the Covenant, before humanity, and like before these great civilizations were, these, like, they found technology that predated them. It was another spacefaring race that were called the Forerunners. And the reason they call them, like, they found the name in like computer systems.
Mm-hmm.
But essentially the Covenant races all found the Covenant races all had Forerunner technology buried on their planets.
Okay.
So as the prophets, I forget what the species is called, but the prophet species essentially started bringing together all these alien races, and they were bringing them together under the banner of the Forerunners as like a religious banner. It's a religious cause. Like, the Forerunners were hailed as gods, and the reason that, like, they found a lot of like references to a kind of like a cleansing, or like they found reference to like some great event that happened to the Forerunners that caused them not to be there anymore.
Right.
So the way that, like, basically the prophet species twisted everything around to make it to where like the prophets were, or the Forerunners found the secret to like ultimate power, eternal salvation, and all this. And so like they basically twisted everything around to make this religion and turned all these aliens into zealots.
Okay.
And so when when the Covenant found out about humanity, things got violent. But then when the prophets looked into it further, they found out that humanity were essentially like, not like, bleh. The humans had the ability to activate Forerunner technology. Okay. Which had not been done before. Okay. And the prophets saw that as a threat to their leadership. Okay. And so they marked humanity as heretics, and like as basically as the humanity's existence as heresy. Right. They saw it. They basically marked them as an affront to the Forerunners. So now you have all these religious zealot aliens who think that the humans are a threat to their religion and their beliefs.
That makes sense.
And it essentially, that's what started this war, is the prophets turning all these aliens onto humanity.
That is something I would really be interested for them to explore in season 2. Is to get into some of the more deeper lore, because now that you've established these characters, let's dig into the nuts and bolts of things.
And the fact that they established, what was it, Mercy? It was.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that they established Mercy as the prophet that like kind of has all these machinations is really shocking, because in the games, Mercy was just like, I don't want to say throwaway, but like, so Prophet of Regret, you follow him to the in the second game, you follow him onto a second Halo ring and you kill him. He's like, you kill him, and then later as you get to High Charity, you're chasing the prophets down, and before the prophets can get off of the station, the flood attack, and a flood literally latches onto Mercy and starts eating him. And like one of the soldiers goes to like help Mercy, and like Regret kind of stops the soldier and goes, there's no room for weakness on the great journey, brother. And then like just leaves him.
So in the games, is there a rebel presence like there is in the show, or is that something created for the show?
No, there used to be.
Okay.
But literally, so what happened was the Spartans were originally created to fight the rebellion. And they did a very good job of that. They did exactly that. But like shortly after Silver Team, and in the show it was Silver Team, in the games it's Blue Team. Shortly after Silver Team captured the leader of the rebellion, Covenant Human First Contact happened.
Okay.
And like an entire battle group, after reporting seeing one ship of the Covenants, they don't know about the Covenant yet, but apparently after seeing only one ship of the Covenants, an entire battle group went silent.
Wow.
Then like they sent another ship over like at the last coordinates to find out what happened. That ship came back basically on its last legs, about to blow up.
Dang. Okay, because like I really enjoyed the rebel aspect of the show, and I love how they all of these things. You had McKee and her kind of connection to the artifacts. You had John and his connection to the artifacts, and then you had the rebels and their connection to it. I love how they kind of brought all of that together. I thought that was really well done, and it was super compelling. It was super compelling because you essentially had 3 main storylines to follow in this series, and again, I don't have anything at stake here when it comes to Halo. Yeah. I thought that the series was put together very well. It flowed nicely. Everything came together the right way. And not only that, at the end of it, it left me wanting more. I was I'm into this now. You know? I mean, it was just the way... I don't want to compare it like a 1v1 comparison, but it had like a Game of Thrones vibe. There was enough storylines going on.
There's betrayal and sex.
Well, betrayal certainly. I'm still waiting for John to get his. I mean,
him and McKee had sex.
Yeah, but like, I mean, he got cut off, man. Like he got cock blocked by the universe. That wasn't fair. And with McKee, she got twat swatted by the universe. That's not fair. You know.
Oh God, no! It wasn't the universe. It was Kai.
Oh, I know. Kai had to do what she had to do, okay?
I know, it still sucks.
And Kai is going to have to deal with that in Season 2, all right? When John comes back, and we all know John's coming back.
Well, and see, what I kind of think is that I wouldn't be surprised if when they brought back Master Chief from his current predicament, I'm wondering if we're not going to have the Master Chief from the games. Because
maybe
the games have only gone back as far as the Fall of Reach.
Mm-hmm.
Like the planet that they're on right now, where all of this, like the whole TV series happened, was Reach.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering if we're like the Master Chief that because in the games, in Halo Reach, you're not Master Chief.
Right.
You don't ever see Master Chief. You see Cortana shortly, but you don't ever see Master Chief in Halo Reach. You see Keys. You see
right.
you see her the senior Keys. But you don't see Master Chief.
Keyes was a good character, man. He was a real good character in the show.
You know, Keyes in the games is a lot. Like, they got him pretty good because, again, like, Keyes did go around with Halsey to collect the children. He was more of a military man, though, as in, like, he kind of, well, this is what I was ordered to do. I guess this is what we got to do. Yeah. So
I mean, I liked the character in the sense that he was, like, trying to be ethical and trying to be moral, but he realized he did some really fucking immoral and unethical shit, like some real shady shit, and he had to deal with the consequences of that. Like, that was a really interesting character to place into that show. But, like, what I really want to kind of get into with this, because you said, we've touched before, like, you know, the online reaction was kind of shit, right? Like, I just want to get
There's always going to be shitty fans.
Right, but I want to get your perspective on this because, like, it was never going to be a one-to-one adaptation, right?
You can't like, the same thing that works in video games is not going to work in TV.
Right. And, like, but, like, okay, so what I want to kind of get into is, like, what the reaction that some people have, be like, oh, well, this isn't the game, therefore I don't like this, or it deviates from things in the game, therefore it's not Halo. Yeah. Like, I get really curious about this because you see this in other fandoms too, right? Like, we're seeing this with Rings of Power, and we're not going to get into Rings of Power, but we're seeing a very similar kind of thing where it's like, oh, it breaks from quote unquote canon. Yeah. You know, but it's like, why? What I don't understand is that why can't that thing be separate? So why can't this Halo series just be separate from the game?
So, right? Yeah. So I get that. And I think, like, I had always had the same thoughts too. But recently I was online, and I think it was on TikTok, actually, surprisingly. I came across something, and it explained it to me, and it honestly makes a lot of sense to me. It's the same reason why the prequel trilogies upset fans of the original trilogies. Because in the original trilogy, if you started with just the original trilogy basically was about Luke Skywalker and his journey to becoming a Jedi. Yeah. But the moment they came out with the prequels and everyone watched the prequels, the original trilogy suddenly was not about Luke Skywalker and his journey to become a Jedi. Right. It was about the fall and redemption of Anakin Skywalker. Right. And the feeling behind those movies that you loved, the feel like if something tries to change that feeling, sometimes you can have a negative reaction to it.
Sure. I mean, I guess the thing is, like, why wouldn't you be stoked to get different takes on something that you like? Right? Like, I look at it this way. Say if you were a writer, right? And you get called in by this movie production studio, and they're going to adapt. Give me a property. They're going to adapt any property, right? We're going to adapt this thing into a movie. And you're like, sweet, let's go for it. And they say, one catch. It has to be a carbon copy of this other thing. So say you're adapting a book, right? What's a really popular fucking book?
Harry Potter.
Yeah, okay. Let's say the Warner Brothers is saying we're going to do Harry Potter. Cool. I would love to write the script for that. Okay. But it has to be exactly as it goes in the book. Literally everything that's in the book must be in the movie. Nothing. No deviations, nothing. Everything that's on that page has to go on screen. What's the point of having the writer? Right? Why hire a script writer? Why hire a creative team? Why hire a director? You know, like, you're bringing on creative people to take a thing and then put their spin on it, right?
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of people don't think, like, if with books to movies, you can always think, you know, okay, a lot of, and I'll even use Tolkien's. You always talk about Tolkien likes to describe the tiniest fucking thing on the he likes to describe the tiniest fucking thing on a tree on the other side of a fucking hill. That's not good movie.
No, it's not.
No one wants like 2 or 3 frames of the same fucking tree just to look at it from different angles.
Exactly. And I'm going to bring this up too because you brought up Tolkien. I recently rewatched the Hobbit trilogy. right? Because I don't think that trilogy gets its due. I think it's.
Oh, I love the Hobbit trilogy.
I think it's unfairly maligned because when you watch the Hobbit trilogy and then you watch the Lord of the Rings, you realize that the world that Peter Jackson created is very cohesive. That's his interpretation of Middle Earth. That's his interpretation of the Legendarium. Just like this Halo series is that creative team's interpretation of the source material. And, I'm not saying that everyone has to like it. You don't have to. And you can have your valid criticisms. That's fine. But the knee-jerk reaction to be like, it's not the game, therefore it sucks, is unfair.
Well, and if you honestly break things down, and you can do this with a lot of other things too. If you break them down, they didn't deviate from the source material that much. Mm-hmm. Like we've already talked about how they got the Spartans exactly. Yeah. Like everything that happened with the Spartans was put in the TV show perfectly. Yeah. That's fine. Everything's there. The UNSC is a fascist military regime that took over humanity's government because they were at war. Mm-hmm. That happened. Yeah. That is that's the description in both the games and the TV series. They are the same. Yeah. ONI is a fucking black ops, like, backstabbing organization. A lot of ONI, they did a lot of bad shit for humanity in the defense of humanity. Yeah. That is all in there, both the games and the TV show. It's just Halsey kidnapped children, experimented on them, and, got to walk free for a very long time, and it didn't catch up with her until a lot later. Mm-hmm. That's in the TV show. Right. It's all the same.
It's just so weird. It's so weird because, like, I don't know. Maybe it's just because this is a personal thing, but I love having multiple interpretations of a thing. Oh, yeah. Right? Like, I look at, like, Batman. I don't want the same fucking Batman every goddamn iteration we get. I don't want the same fucking thing.
I was about to say, like, if what was it? Tim Drake the first Robin?
Dick Grayson.
If Dick Grayson stayed Robin the entire time that Batman has been a thing, we wouldn't have Red Hood. Yeah. We wouldn't have Nightwing.
You wouldn't have Red Robin. You wouldn't have Tim Drake.
Exactly. You wouldn't have Damian Wayne.
I know everyone fucking hates Damian Wayne, but I fucking love the fact that he's there.
Exactly. Like, or whatever the chick's name is. I don't know.
Yeah, because it's so boring to have one version of things. It's so boring.
I want to, who cares if, yes, Batman has beaten Superman before, but I don't want to see him beat Batman, or I don't want to see him beat Superman the same fucking way over and over again. No. I want to see it different ways.
And it's the same thing with Halo, right? Like, if you don't like the show, that's fine. Don't watch it. If your idea of the perfect Halo is the game or a specific game, dude, that exists. That thing is there, right? Like, I don't know, man. Maybe I'm getting frustrated with the online space where it's just it's just constant criticism. It's just constant this fucking sucks.
Like, if Halo, the video game, the first video game, was the same model they used for the others, Halo would not be a big name now.
No, man.
It wouldn't be.
No.
There are 7 Halo rings in the Halo universe.
Yeah.
If they made 7 games of you going through the same bullshit...
Exactly.
Halo would not exist.
Exactly.
It would not be a big name.
Exactly.
In Halo 2, they let you dual wield. They introduced new vehicles, new weapons, all kinds of shit. They did
more compelling storylines.
More compelling storylines. They did the same thing in fucking 3. They open up plot points and they close plot points in different games. Yeah. It would not happen if Halo stuck with the same fucking material.
Bro, because I look at the same thing with and I hate to keep bringing up Rings of Power, but I look at the same thing, because it looks different than Peter Jackson's movies. It looks very different. Yeah. And that's a good thing. That is a really good thing.
I was looking in the new trailer, I noticed the hobbits look kind of more primitive.
Well, they're Harfoots. They're not even hobbits. They're the ancestors. Yeah, they're the ancestors of the hobbits. They're the Harfoots. So but aesthetically, right? I don't want it to look like Peter Jackson's films. I want it to be its own thing. It should have the chance to be its own thing.
Well, it's how many years before?
Thousands. Yeah. Thousands of years.
Things aren't going to be the same thousands of years before.
I'm even talking aesthetically. I'm even talking design choices or I know like Howard Shore is attached to do the score, which I fucking love. Howard Shore is the sound of Middle Earth to me, but like it doesn't need to be a carbon copy of something that we already got, right?
Well, but I mean, like I don't play the Old Republic expecting to have the same Star Wars universe.
Yes.
It's literally it's hundreds to thousands of years separating something from what you're from what you're normally used to. Things are going to be different. Yeah. Time passes, things change. That happens.
I mean, ultimately, I think I just get really excited for adaptations because adaptations give creative people the ability to be creative in a sandbox that they love.
Yeah.
Right? Like I love that, And Halo was a perfect example of that, especially coming from a position where, like, I don't have any history with it. It was such an incredibly compelling series, to the point where it's been months since I've seen it, yet I remember certain things very vividly. And that is the hallmark of a damn good show. When it can burrow into my brain like a fucking tapeworm like that, and I can just recall stuff and like things that still impact me the same way as when I saw it, like fucking Kai being my favorite goddamn character, my punk rock Spartan, that is a sign of a really impactful show, a really good fucking strong show, So I don't know.
Just the scene where Kai is like lifting a fucking warthog for the Marines to place bets on. That was fucking awesome.
I know.
I wasn't expecting that. It was just, where's Kai? Oh!
I know, dude. Kai's my favorite. Like,
oh man.
Man, I just, again, at the end of the day, let adaptations be adaptations. Yeah. Don't like it if you don't want to. That's fine. If it doesn't click with you, that's good.
You don't have to watch it.
Yeah.
You don't have to play it.
But I would say don't invalidate it.
Yeah.
Don't invalidate it. That's we live in a. If you want to eat the same thing every day, man, go for it.
It'll eventually kill you.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, ultimately, I'm glad that I live in a world where Halo exists, and I can't wait for season 2. I cannot wait.
Yeah.
Hopefully, because. Was it a success? Was it a good success? Because I hope it was. Because if it's a good success, I want them to get more money, and I want them to fucking.
Apparently, it was enough of a success. I think before they even released season 1 fully, I think they had already approved it for 2 or 3 more seasons.
Beautiful. I'm in for a penny, in for a pound, man.
Summer of 2022. Release the show cannot. Can it? And can it recover from its controversy?
Ugh.
Yeah, season 2's already been confirmed.
Fucking A.
But there may be a major change in direction under new showrunner David Weiner. I had to say David Weiner, I know.
Sorry.
I had to say Weiner.
Yeah. Nice. I don't know. I don't want a major change in direction, though, man.
Well,
I mean, I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna give it the same old college try I gave season 1. But season 1 was really good. It was really fucking good. Don't change it too much. Don't go changing. I don't know.
Season 2 will need to find a way to separate Cortana and the Master Chief.
They'll figure that out.
Okay.
That's what they have writers for, man. Writers are really fucking talented.
I love how the fact that at the very end, fucking as Halsey's dying, her daughter is just like, that's not fucking Halsey.
Yeah. Oh God, man. I was pissed. At that.
No release date, but once they're saying once season 2 starts once it starts production, maybe they'll put out more news.
Cool. I mean, there's a lot of really rad stuff that's kind of in limbo.
I will say, though, you wouldn't recognize it, but the thing that Quan saw come out of the fucking well, oh, I know what that is.
Nice.
It kind of makes, but that means that, thinking about it. So, the thing that came out of the well for Quan is a Forerunner custodian, I want to call it.
Okay.
Basically, it's literally an AI robot. It's an AI robot that they put in their installations or important facilities to keep things running, to keep them in good condition for when they would be reactivated.
Interesting.
So each Halo ring has one of those robots. The Arc that you see in Halo 3 had one.
Nice. I can't wait. I can't wait. I want to see more.
Yeah.
And I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, no, I want to see the direction they take this.
Hell yeah.
It's like we were saying earlier. It's honestly, you can either make this a completely separate Halo universe, which I'm fine with, or you can make through a different perspective, it can be the same Halo universe.
Yeah.
I want to see, because it's a different perspective on things, and that's interesting to me.
Exactly. I was not expecting
to be so drawn in.
Exactly. And it was a pleasant surprise, man. It's always a cool thing when you get into something and you're not sure how it's going to go for you. You're not sure if it's going to click, and then it does. That's a fucking rad feeling, man. I love it.
Yeah. No, and you know what though? Like, I'm glad you were able to see the series first, because with what they did with it, the fact that they made it so damn compelling. I want to tell you right now, the first game, not that fucking compelling.
Yeah.
It's really not story-wise. Like, if you enjoy first-person shooters, it's fucking awesome. But if you, like, it's not that compelling. It's really not. It doesn't get compelling until the second game. And
that's, like, when it comes to me and playing games, aside from, like, the few multiplayer things, that's what I play for. I want a story. And yeah. I play it on easy mode. Fucking fight me.
Well, I mean, the story is there in the first game, but it's one of those storylines where, like, you have to pay attention, and the storyline only pertains to the game.
Right.
And again, like, the lore didn't get expansive until the second.
Yeah, and look, I'll be the first one to say it. I think video games are an underappreciated vehicle for good stories.
Oh, yeah.
I think it is underappreciated. It is not given the due that it deserves, because some games that I've played have amazing storylines. Storylines. You know, and then the fact that you get to interact with it is just icing on the cake for me. You know? So, look, from us, 2 giant fucking thumbs right up your butthole for Halo. Like, I'm in. I'm in for a penny. I'm in for a pound. Let's go.
I want it to. I want season 2 already.
Yeah.
Like, we just finished watching season 1 6 weeks ago, and I'm like, I want more.
Hell yeah.
And like, I've already rewatched the first season, and I'm still like, more.
Yeah, hell yeah. And if our enthusiasm pisses off the trolls, well, fucking fight me. Let's go.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. We're in the apocalypse. I'll fight anybody at this point. I don't give a fuck.
That's fair. That's fair.
So, maybe not the episode you were expecting, but it's the episode you fucking got.
All right, Batman.
I'm just saying. You know, hey, look, I've been really looking forward to this conversation because I know Halo means something to you, and I wanted to see that enthusiasm. I wanted to see the real excited Brad come out.
Again, I could keep going. Like, there's so much I can talk about that I want to talk about, but at the same time, I'm like, no, we're not doing this again, Brad.
I mean, we'll get there. We're gonna get there. No, we're gonna get there, man.
We're really not. I have endeavored myself never ever to have a repeat of E3 ready.
Oh, but hey, you know what? Here is the positive spin on that. Hey, if you found this episode and you want to have Brad come on to your show and talk about some fucking Halo, that's your boy. That's the boy you need to reach out to. I mean, this guy he's an encyclopedia. He is a Halo encyclopedia. You know?
That's beside the point.
He would be a benefit to you. What I'm trying to tell you is book my fucking friend on your show, you cowards.
I think I'm already booked for Nerd Herders.
Both of us are, man. We are actually we're podcasting from their back room. From backstage, we're podcasting from there. I have a lovely cot. I have a bucket to use for my facilities.
They recently upgraded me to a cardboard box.
Right? They're so generous.
The pet carrier.
They're so generous to us. It's so amazing.
They still haven't given me my own litter box, though, so I've been having to use Kevin's.
I will say this, though. The wrist restraints that keep the chains there, they're so much more comfortable now. They loosened them up a little bit. I was getting some chafing, but it's all good now.
See, now you have them switch to an ankle one. If you don't move around, it doesn't chafe nearly as much.
That's right. You know what? We're going to have to put that in the suggestion box. When they give us the new round of fish heads for us to eat, I'll put that in the suggestion box.
Okay.
So, ladies and James, thank you for hanging out with us again tonight, man. It's so good If you know what, dude, never again are we gonna do another 6-week sojourn into nothing. Like we're yeah.
Next time's gonna be 8 weeks.
Yeah, it's gonna be fucking no. Fuck that, man. We're gonna double it. 12 weeks. We'll be back next quarter.
Dude, did you know that Nerd Herder does seasons?
That's actually a pretty good idea. It's a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good
I was
idea.
like, I remember, like, I think I was talking to them one day, and they were just like, yeah, no, we're starting season 2 this time, and I'm just like, seasons?
Maybe that's something to look into. Maybe we can plan things out a little better. Who knows?
Maybe.
It's 5 years in, man. This is a constantly evolving little endeavor of ours.
That's true.
But you know what? And hey, thank you to the audience, man. I mean, we appreciate it.
92 episodes in, we're still on season 1. Bitches.
Yep. Longest season ever. But hey, man, seriously, thank you guys.
That's not true. There's an anime or two that I know of that has like 100+ seasons, episodes a season.
That is insane.
Yeah.
My eyes just went super wide at that. But you know, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us, man. It still means something to us. So we really appreciate it. We really appreciate it.
This is like, no matter how long we go between episodes, and like no matter what's happening in our personal lives, like I just always enjoy the shit out of it.
Fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah. We're never stopping. We are gonna be a boil on your ass for the rest of your life.
We are polyps.
We're a flare up.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, hey, Brad, let's wrap this bitch up so we can go.
All right, man.
So we can go suck at Battlefront. Yeah. Where can they find you?
They can find me on Twitter at Intrepid Co-host. They can find me on Xbox Live at Grenadier117. They can find me on Steam at Pandora117.
Nice.
Yes.
So
and yes, the 117 in both of those is from Master Chief.
See, goddamn right. See,
I'm a fanboy.
He's a super fan. He's
Yeah.
a fucking super fan. You guys can find me on Twitter as well at Force_losers. If you're interacting with the Force Losers on Twitter, it's me. Sorry. I would say go to my Instagram, but I've kind of been silent there as well. I've been taking a break from feeling like I constantly have to post things. So fuck that. But on Xbox, my gamer tag is ForceLoserKev88, all caps, because I'm an asshole. So if you guys see Brad and I online and we're fucking rocking some Battlefront, hey, shoot us a message, man. Join us. It's awful, but it'd be awful fun. Yeah, you see that? You like that?
We're usually on around like 11 to 12 Central Time,
give or take. I'm a boy with a bedtime, so I'm not out too late. But we're gonna be up a little late tonight because it's already late here. Anyway. Fuck, we're meandering. Ready to land this bird, buddy?
Ready.
All right, here we go. And a one, and a two, and a three. Later, bitches.
Later, bitches.